What's up? Hey guys, it's Ivan. In this video, I want to create an Unbounce landing page with you to give you an idea of what Unbounce looks like, what the interface is like, what the drag and drop builder is like, stuff like that, so that you can decide if you like Unbounce and if it's right for you. Now, I decided to use Unbounce to try it out because of their dynamic keyword insertion tool, which is super useful for Bing and Google for pay-per-click campaigns. I'll get into that in another video. But in this video, I want to create a sample landing page that looks similar to this using the Unbounce landing page drag and drop builder. So let's get into it. So once you sign up for Unbounce, you will come to a screen that looks like this. And you will have to click on Create New, obviously, to create the new page. So I'm just going to click on that. So you have all these templates you can choose from. I will not use a template, otherwise it'll be too easy. You just select a template that looks like this and you change the words around. Doesn't show you much. So what I'm going to do is start with a completely blank page, and I'm going to name it down here. So if you do want to look at templates, you will see everything on the right-hand side, this and then the mobile version. So you will see everything here, right? And like I said, I'm going to select the blank page, and I'll name it our new page. And I'll click on Start with this template. And we're going to start with a completely blank page so that you can see, you can have an idea for what it would look like. So in Unbounce, here are the sections. So you can move them up or down. OK, let me see if there's any other ones. Yeah, so just two. And if you want to add more, you can do so by just dragging it over here. So I have a feeling we will need a few more than just the two sections, or actually the one section. So, and then you can adjust it here, OK? So let's see. So the first thing we want to do is create this section at the top with our logo and our phone number here, OK? And obviously, it doesn't have to be phone number. You can add whatever you want to. But let's say this will be our section here. So let me select that. So I'll make that a bit smaller. Now, what you can do is you can add an image right there, and then let's select some random logo, see if we can find it. Unbounce has this awesome Unsplash images integrated into it, which are free images, but is just very simple. You don't have to copy paste and save the image. So let's suppose we want to pick a sample logo. I don't want to use Slack. Let's say this one, our design, and I'll say choose. And then you just click. You select the word choose, and then if you use the full size, it's going to use the full image size, which might be super big. If you click on scale image to fit page, that's going to scale the image based on the image exact size that you selected, but you can always change it later on. So as you can see here, the image is red. That's because it doesn't fit into our page. So what we're going to want to do is just make it a bit smaller by just doing it like that. And so as you can see here, we want to make the logo go to the side, but it doesn't allow us to do that. So what we can do is change the size and width here by deselecting that. And we want to decrease the height. So maybe make that, let's see what happens if we make it 80. And again, this is just for demonstration purposes. So obviously yours will be much nicer, but this is just to show you what a page could look like. Now this page, it looks like the borders are a bit extended here. So what we can do is just extend the borders out a bit. And you can turn these off if you don't like them. You can turn these boundaries off so you can actually see what the page would look like. But this shows you what the page would look like, right? So this will be the main part of your page right here in the middle, which is right here, okay? This part. So everything outside of the border right here, it will still kind of show the picture and stuff, but that won't be your main area. So this is the main area right here in the middle that we're going to be editing. So here's our logo, right? Like I said, obviously it's going to be nicer, but let's put, for example, a phone number here. So I'm going to click on text on the left-hand side and drag it over here. And you can literally enter whatever you want to, you know, maybe a menu if you want. But in this case, I'll just enter the phone number, and yeah, so we can just double click that and just type something in. So what do we want to type in? Let's say we want a number to be called. So 1-800-256-9987. Okay, just a random number. Now, if we want to increase the size of this, everything is right here, the size, the text. Okay, so really straightforward. So the cool thing about Unbounce is you can always add or remove a font. So if you feel like it's missing fonts, you can just add them by typing in whatever you want to hear, something not available in ClickFunnels if you've seen all those videos, just pretty cool. And we can change the size here, say 22, or maybe, oops, okay, so we don't have that selected. So let me select that, and then 24, make it 36, okay, and let's see. So it looks like there's something in the back. Let's try this again. Oops, okay. So let's give it another shot. Just a random phone number, and then I'm going to deselect it and then select it again and then select the size here. So I might have to make that a bit bigger. Okay, so we have to select the text. If you select the box, it makes the box bigger to account for the text, but that's fine. So we'll just do it like this. And then if you want, so then the box changes the size as well, but we have to select that box. Let me just make it like that. We have to select the text inside the box to change the size. So let's do that. And like I said, we can change the font here. So if I select this whole thing and I make it Comic Sans, it's going to be Comic Sans now. We can change the text color. Let's maybe make it gray just to show you what that would look like. Okay, nope, we can't see it at all. So maybe closer to black. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so we have our top part ready. I showed you some of the features available. Now, the cool thing about Unbounce and the not cool thing, kind of both, it's a bit harder to place these things in proportion to where you want them to go. So in ClickFunnels, you add a text, for example, an element, and everything is already centered. Everything is, you know, it fits within your boundaries. In Unbounce, for example, if I put an image there, it can stay there. You can't do that in ClickFunnels without using code. But that's also a good thing here because you have much more freedom to put things wherever you want them to. If I want to put my phone number right there, I can put my phone number right there, right? ClickFunnels won't allow me to, but in Unbounce, I can. Now, the things that do allow you to center in Unbounce are these little lines. So you see this little green line here in the middle, and that allows me to center my text in the middle of the height. And then if I put it in the middle here, you will see a green line in the middle showing where the middle of the width of the box is. Okay. Now I want my text to be here, so I'm gonna match it over here somewhere. And also, if you want to, if you don't want to drag and drop that little text, you can just click on this button here, and it's gonna automatically align vertically or align, you know, horizontally. But again, I'm gonna put it here, and I'm just going to align vertically. So that's it for our first part. Now let's look at this. So this part is white, okay, or gray. So maybe we can leave it that color. Well, actually, it is gray. So if I want to change the background, I'm going to click on this background here, and then go to where it says background here under properties, and just select the color. So let's make it, maybe I'll drag it down and then click choose. And now this whole thing will be gray. Now, if you don't want the outsides to be gray as well, if you do only want this one part going down, then you will need to deselect the option. If I click here, you would need to deselect this option, stretch background to page edges. And what that will do is that will only leave the leave this part gray, and everything else will be a different color, which will be the color of these page properties here. Okay. So that's, as you can see, the color of the outside is that. So if we want to make it white, for instance, now this will be white. But in this case, we do want everything to take over the whole background. So I'm just going to actually select that option, which is fine. Maybe not make it as gray, actually. Let me just get a bit lighter. Okay, so that's cool. That's it for that part. So let's create this part here. So we have to create this background image. We have to create the words, okay, and then the button and stuff like that. So let's do that. So we might need to extend that a bit, make it bigger. So let's start with the text, and then we'll add the background image later. So I'm going to add this text, and let's say we want to promote the keto diet. Okay, so I'm gonna say, let's say get your free 30-day keto diet plan. Okay, and just like I said, we can make this text bigger. We have to. It's the headline. So let's make it maybe 36. Okay, now in this case, you can see everything is tied up together. So the way we deal with that is by adjusting the line height. So if I make the line height bigger, that's going to give us more space in between those words. So maybe something like that, and then we can center it. So just like that, okay? So again, I'm trying to give you as many kind of give you as much a feel of this as possible. So let's see what this text is. Let's inspect element and make it, you know, as close to this as possible. So let's just quickly take a look and see what font that is. Font family. Okay, so that's Montserrat. Okay, so I'm gonna go here and I will select from the text. Okay, so we don't have Montserrat here. So what I'm going to do is add remove text, type in Montserrat, and I can add, and there's 18 different styles. So it's going to be Montserrat regular, Montserrat Italian regular, thin, italic, stuff like that. I'll just select regular, and there's that. Oh, actually, again, let me just select that. And make it regular. So there you have that. If you want to bold it, you can just select these options here. Okay, so that looks about right. Maybe make it a bit bigger. So again, I'm going to highlight the text inside there. And yeah, that's definitely not 14. 36, let's maybe make it 48. That looks okay. And we'll adjust the line height as well, so we can actually see the words. Okay, a little too much. Maybe 58 is okay. All right, so let's keep it like this. I will extend that a bit. And that looks okay, all right? So I'm going to center this in the middle, as you can see here, horizontally, or I can just click this button right there, and that's going to automatically do it for me, so I don't have to drag and drop. So there we have that. So let's add a little subtext underneath. Let's say, you know, the perfect diet plan for your keto needs, okay? So let's just leave it at that. I'm going to select it. Make it 22. We don't need such high line height on this one. So I'm going to decrease that. And then let me make this italic. So I'll click on that, and there you go. Okay, so we have something that looks like this. Again, I'm going to try to center this. There you go. Okay, so we have this part down. So I probably won't make this whole page. I think that's an overkill. You guys will know how to do this after we do the the basic stuff, but I will do the most important things. So then let's add a button. Now the button here, this is pretty cool. This has a bunch of different features. So you can add a on hover effect. So when someone hovers over your mouse, what that's going to look like, and you have an active effect, which is when the button is actually clicked on. Okay, so you can select that. Create appearance based on upstate. That will automatically allow Unbounce to create a button that will look like that will match your upstate color. Okay, so the button here, let's say we want to make it red. Okay, so just like that. So I'm going to select the color here, and I'm going to make it red. I think that's fine. So for the button, we can change the, let's see, corner radius. So as you can see, the corner radius is 5 here. We can just make it be rectangle. Over here it is full rectangle. So let's say over here for the button, we want to say, here's the text right there. So let's say, and don't worry about dynamic text. I'll get into that again for the dynamic search replacement, dynamic text replacement. I'll get into that in another video. We're just focusing on the basics here. So for the button, let's say, get instant access to your meal plan, something like that. I'm going to extend the button, make it bigger, because I know that I'm going to increase the size of the font. So let me make that 24. Okay, maybe 28. Maybe that's a little better. We want to try to make it fit under one in one line. A button with, which has 2 lines, I don't really like it too much. So what we can do is we can just decrease the font size by a little bit, maybe 24, something like that. And change that, and then there you go. Okay, so here's your button. So when you click on the button, you can make it go to a URL right here. So you would enter the URL. So let's suppose I wanted to go to, oh, I don't know, what's a keto diet.com. Okay, just as an example. pass-through URL parameters. If you have URL parameters, again, I'll get into that when I go over dynamic text replacement, but if you have parameters like keyword, query strings, stuff like that, and you want to pass it to that next page, you would obviously select this. Go to URL in lightbox. That's going to open like a pop-up. Show a lightbox. That's just going to show the lightbox, but it won't actually go there. So you'll still stay on the page. You can call a number. So if they're on their mobile phone and you select this option, call a number, the number will automatically be called when someone clicks on the button. Pretty cool. And you can automatically send an email as well. In this case, we're just going to go to the URL, and we can set a goal. So how many people click or go to this link. We can select that, and that is now our goal. So when we go back to our page settings, we will see conversions, okay, based on how many people click this button, which is pretty cool. And that's it for that button. So let's create this background now. So we'll select some picture. It doesn't have to be obviously the same picture. Let me decrease that a little bit, and maybe. So if I want to move everything up a little bit, what I'm going to do is select one and then shift click everything else. As you can see there, a shift click, and then I can either use my mouse or use the arrows to move it up a bit. So I'm just going to move it up a little bit, make it nice and neat. There we have that, and then I'm going to select this here, okay, this this section, okay, and then go to background, and I'm going to click on style, okay? So we can add a video, we can add a gradient, a solid color, a pattern, stuff like that. In this case, we want to add an image. So we can select an image here. So let's say we want an image of, keto diet. Let's see if that'll work. Okay, so let's just, I don't think you can eat tomatoes with keto diet, but for simplicity's sake, not sure about strawberries either. I don't think so. But for simplicity's sake, let's just select this image and then click on choose. And so now this should take over the whole background. And again, if we don't want to fit it to all the edges, we can select that, and that's going to make it fit there, but we do. We can also add a parallax effect, whereby if you scroll down, this will also scroll down. So the image will also be scrolling with you. That's the parallax. And fit background to container. So the image size is huge. The image size is so big that this first part actually only fits, this section. So if you select fit background to container, it's going to put the whole big image squished into this section. So that's how these settings work. Advanced settings, yeah, well, these are pretty self-explanatory. You can choose the position of how you want it, like which section you want it to be. Not going to get into too much detail there. Self-explanatory. So let's suppose this is going to be our background. Background to container. Yeah, I'm not going to select that. And let me see if I can add some opacity so that we can actually read the words. So this is the opacity of the background. Let's make it maybe like this. I don't like this image. Let me see if yeah, I'll probably just end up fitting the background because that image, the fries doesn't look too good. So that's the maximum opacity that it's going to allow us, it looks like. Hold up. Oh, no, I didn't select that. So let me select that again. Sometimes it deselects, so if that happens to you, you know why it's not changing opacity, because you have it deselected. So that's it for that part. So let's just quickly save it and take a quick sneak peek at what this looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to click preview, and you can look it on desktop and mobile. So that's what it looks like. Don't worry about over here. It's kind of cut off, but it's still there. So as you can see, here's what our page looks like so far, which is pretty dang similar to what that looks like, okay? Obviously, you can, again, look at the text and size and, adjust it, but I'm just giving you an idea for how this works. So let's do maybe one more thing. Let's see if we can maybe do something like this, because you already know how to add a button, how to add a headline. So let's see if we can add some text like this and then with some borders, okay? So let's do this part here. This you already should know how to do because you know how to add images and stuff like that. And then for this bottom part, we can save it for our disclaimer in terms of views and stuff like that. So maybe let's just quickly do that now. Let me see if I can add text. Okay, so as you can see, I can't add text to that part because it's not a section. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to actually add another section to the bottom of this. So I'm going to select that, drag and drop it there. And I don't think it dropped. There you go. Then I'll make this section smaller. And then let's say, we add stuff like disclaimer. Maybe we can add a little, all these basics and privacy policy. Okay. Let's select this. And then, so what we would do is for each one of these, so for example, we would select the privacy policy, go to action, and then make it go to a URL, right? And then we'd say www.privacypolicy.com. Okay, so let's just, for example, and then you can make it open in the same tab or window or a new tab or window. Haven't tried these, I'm not sure what they are. Just open up frames on the same page, I guess. But I just use these two. So that's fine. So that's an example, right? Terms of use, I mean, let's do the same thing here, I guess, for consistency. But if you want to link text, that's what you do. You go to action and then just type it here, termsofuse.com. And then we can do the same thing here. Okay, and then let's suppose we want to center this. Oops. Guess that didn't go through quite well enough. Let's try it again. Okay, there you go. So now let's center this. Center it horizontally and vertically. There you go. So we have this part down pat. So one more thing we have to do is something like this, right? So maybe some information about this keto diet. That's our preview so far. I'll just close out of that. So again, we can add text, we can add an image, we can add a button. You know how to do that. We can add a form. That's for form submission for when integrating integrating it with your autoresponder. Okay, so when someone signs up, they enter your email list. You can add a video, you can add custom code, and social widgets are Facebook tools and stuff like that. So that's all the tools here. And then a box is just like a rectangle or something if you want to add it. But that's all there is for these drag and drop editor options. So let's suppose, again, we're going to enter text to make it look just like this. So what gents like you are saying. Okay, so I guess testimonials. So we'll just say testimonials. Okay, I'm going to be a little faster here because you know how this is done, how this works. Why didn't I go 36? Okay, I'm going to make this section a bit bigger. Scroll down, make it a bit bigger. And again, I'm going to center this horizontally, and then that looks about right. So we can add a little line. Let's see. So for the line, we can just add maybe a little box or something like that. And we can make it really small and expand it. And then let's just, let's see, solid color. So let's make this grayish. And then no border, but our color is going to make this visible. So there we have this little box here. Okay, if we can select it. So if I can't really select it, I'm going to go to contents, and right under this, I'm going to select the box. Nope. Okay, let me see if I can just make this a little bit bigger so I can move it. And then I'm going to move it right here. I'm going to align it again, center, and there's our little little line, I guess. So that's it for that part. Let me close that out. So let's do these. Okay, let's do these three here. So these are like testimonials. So what we can do here is we can add a box. So we have the option of adding a box and then adding text within it, or we can add the text and we can add a border around the text. Okay, so let me show you both ways, I guess. So if we add text here, how does the guy say it? So maybe say something like, "This service is great, highly recommended." Okay, and then we can leave it at that, and we can say, oops, let's say John Doe. Okay, so we can add that. Now we can add the border around it. So if I just select the text and go to border properties and add a solid, it can either be applied to the outside or the inside. And so that's pretty much the border. Okay, so again, you can make it solid, you can make it dotted, dashed. Okay, in this case, I think it is solid, and it's very gray colored. So let's make it the same. We'll make it gray. So I selected, I went to border properties and there's the color right there. Now, as you can see, there's not enough space, right, before the border. So if we want to add more space, we can just click enter. And if when you click enter, it gives too much space, you can click shift enter, okay? And that's gonna give it a bit less space in between. And then shift enter again here. And there you go, okay? So there's our one testimonial. And all this is italic. So we'll select that. Okay, so maybe make this a bit more clear. It's pretty hard to see the border. So I'll select that. So that's option 1. Okay, we can do it like that, and that's our one testimonial right here, which looks the same, right? Obviously, you can make it prettier and you can change the font and text. You know how to do that now. So I won't spend too much time on it, but maybe something like that. Okay, so great. Okay, now if you want to copy this, right, you can just select it, click Control C. Let me see if right click works. No, right click doesn't work. So just Control and then Control P. And that should paste it. Let me see. Nope, works on this. No, it doesn't work. Huh. I was literally just doing this yesterday. I was just copy pasting it. Strange, maybe it doesn't allow it on Firefox or something like that. Okay, no big deal. Let me see. Nope. Okay, so let me just show you the other way then. So we're going to add a box, and then we can add a add the text within the box. So I'll select that. Make the border. Maybe I'll move it here so that we can match it. Match the box right there. So this is the second way I wanted to show you of how you can make these boxes around your text, where you will have more flexibility because now you have now you're able to change the box dimensions and the text dimensions as well. Okay. And then this one, let's say I want to center it, so I'll move it there. There you go. And I want to, let's say I want to center it like that. So then let's move this up. Okay, awesome. So that's that. So let's change the background of this to match this gray. So what's this gray color? It's CE, CE, CE. So I'm going to copy that and then apply to this background here and then click enter. And nope, that's a bit too dark. Okay, let's see what the color is of this background, because that seems a bit too dark. So let's go here. Okay, so it's actually F5, F5, F5. So I'm going to copy that and then paste it here. Click enter, and that's the background. Okay, and then the border radius. Let's see what this border is. This border is B3, B3, B3. So I'm going to copy that, click on that, and paste it here. And now they should be the same color. Oh, that's because this one is dotted. So there you go. They are the same thing. Okay, so the two different ways, and then we can just add the text within it. And then this one we can copy. So I'm going to copy that and paste that here. And it copies everything, including the formatting, okay, which is great. And then we move it here, and then voila, okay, you have the exact same thing, just made in a different way. And then obviously you can change this. Let's make this a bit more realistic. Never knew it existed until now. Great service. Okay, something like that. Whatever. Okay, and there you have it. Okay, so you can edit this. You can change this a bit. So if you find that it's a bit too tight on the edges, just move it a bit, and then I can move this with my left and right or up and down button. Arrows on my keyboard. Okay, and that's it. So you have that. So nope. Okay, weird, I swear. Okay, so let's just do this one more time. So maybe one more testimonial, and then that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's our page, and it looks just like this one. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You should know how to do everything now. You know how to add the image. So let's just maybe make that one more box. Add that here. Now for these boxes, again, you can also adjust the corner radius. Okay, so you can make it really circular, or you can make it really rectangular. But that's it for that. I'm gonna even it out here. then move it a bit. So as you can see here, it is a bit more complicated than, say, ClickFunnels in terms of you have to move the mouse and adjust it to make it even, but it's not a big deal. It gives you more power, right, to do whatever you want to. So that's the pretty cool aspect of it. So I'm going to click that to make it the same color. And this I'm going to make dotted. Looks about right, looks about the same. Again, just a process of copy pasting. And that's it. And then again, we can just copy this text. I won't really bother. Oops, we have to add the text. I won't bother changing it. But I will move it in place. Okay. So there you go. That's our landing page. So let's just save it and see what it looks like. I will show you in a second how to publish this. And then in the future videos, I will show you how to add your custom domain and how to integrate your email autoresponder form, okay? So that you can collect emails and how to set that up. So wondering if I should show you how to do that now. Yeah, so basically you would just enter this form and that's gonna automatically, right, you would select email, select, for example, first name, click done, and it will automatically add the button for you and all this, but then you have to actually integrate it for it to work. So I'll delete that for now. And I'll click save, and let's preview it to see what that looks like. And we also have to make it mobile responsive because it's not right now. So okay, so right now that's what it looks like on mobile, not too great. So we'll do that in another video as well, but that is it. Okay, so this is our website, this is our landing page, we've created it. Again, you can play around with it however long you want to, make it perfect. I just wanted to give you an idea of what all these features look like. So now that we've done that, we've saved it, we have to publish it. So I'm going to go back to overview. And here's our page variant. Okay, so I'm going to just click on publish page. And actually, let me just change this URL real quick. Don't worry about this. I'll get into that. I'll get into the domains in another video, how to add your own domain, how to add a favicon, all that stuff. But let me click on publish page, and I want to show this page to you live as we go from start to finish, okay, in Unbounce. Pretty simple. So we're publishing, give it a second. And if I click on this, I'm going to right click and open a new tab so it doesn't close me out. And there's our page, okay? And then if we click on this, we should be taken to ketodiet.com, which is an actual website, apparently. Obviously, right? It's such a great domain. But that's pretty much it. So again, let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to right click. And then if you want to add your own domain, if you want to add a favicon, I will go over all that. But here's your landing page, all good and done. So that's pretty much it. That is how you create your landing page in Unbounce. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below. If you want to try out Unbounce, if you click on my link below, I give you a free 30-day trial as opposed to a 14-day trial. And I give you 20% off on your first 3 months if you sign up. So a super awesome deal. You really won't find it anywhere. If you, again, enjoyed this video, leave it a thumbs up and subscribe. I cover a lot of different online marketing tools, tips, tricks, reviews, stuff like that. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I will see you in the next video.